Hello and welcome to today's live coaching call and community conversation. Today I'm going to be answering some very common intermittent fasting questions that I have come through my community and my DMs and my email. And hopefully, if you have a question about intermittent fasting, we will get it answered today. This is a live coaching call and a live community opportunity for you to ask questions. So if you are joining us live, please feel free to put your questions in the comment section. I will do my best to get it answered for you today. And then if you are a graduate of our intermittent fasting for today's Aging Woman course, I always ask that you please introduce yourself in the comments as well. If you're a current student, we love to hear from you. Or if you're just a new member to our community or a longtime member, I don't care. I want to hear from you guys today. I want to see you guys in the comment section. For those of you who are going to catch this on the replay, I also ask the same thing. Please make sure that you are participating in our community conversation. This is where we can share ideas and help other women as well. So my name is Diane Parham. I am a fasting mindset coach. I am certified in exercise and nutrition, counseling and coaching for women. I'm also a metabolic flexibility coach and I'm a running coach. But I love to help women and coach women from the standpoint of how our brain is processing information and how that leads to the decisions that we're making. And then finally ask ourselves, how is that working for us, right? Because we know that there's a lot of information out there. We know there's a lot of scientific data, but does that always apply to us? And if we're making decisions that are being shared to the general population and those decisions are not working for us once we incorporate them, then we have to ask ourselves why it is we're continuing to do that. And that's what I really like to break down here and help you guys figure out for yourself. So if you're new, welcome. Make sure you've hit that subscribe button on YouTube. Make sure you've hit that little bell notification. I always make sure that I give you a 15-minute warning on YouTube to let you know that we are going live. And if you hit that bell notification, you will know that. And then also make sure on Facebook that you are following along on the page. And then as always, please share this information, hit that little like button. And again, the comments really do help us spread this information to bigger communities. So let's get started today. I asked on my Instagram page for some questions to come through. So I did get a couple there, and then I always have just general intermittent fasting questions that come through. So I'm also going to address those, and I'm going to answer some questions that get asked of me personally as well. So on Instagram, one of the questions that I got was, what is your pre-workout when fasting? So I always like to make sure that I preface this answer with my story, right? So when I was pre-diabetic, when I was suffering from being metabolically inflexible, when I was really sick, I fasted long and clean and I gave up working out, or I gave up training, let's say. So I gave up working out really hard because I wanted to give my body the opportunity to fix itself hormonally and chemically as I was transitioning through perimenopause into menopause. So I used fasting long and feasting well for an entire year, 20 hours clean, didn't interrupt that. It was magical for me. My body didn't even suffer physically as far as my fitness from taking a year off because I was healing myself from the inside out, right? And so I didn't do any training. I didn't do any pre-workout, none of those things. I just fasted long, feasted well. Then when I got back into training, I trained fasted for a little while. And then I found that I wasn't recovering well and I didn't feel good with the results that I was getting. So I put in a pre-workout. Now I say that very cautiously because I want you to hear the whole story, right? So I break my fast at around the 14-hour mark, 14 to 16-hour mark with a pre-workout. So I clean fast for 14 to 16 hours. When I break my fast, I have tested blood glucose, ketones, and my Lumen. And post-workout, I get my body back into what would be the equivalent of a fasted state chemically and hormonally if I were just fasting. So my glucose drops, my ketones rise, and my Lumen reading shows that I am in fat burning opportunities, right? And so for me, that works. What I always recommend is that if you want to get back into the trifecta, so the fasting long, feasting well, training smart, once you've reversed some of the things that you're not happy with, then you have to experiment with how your body is going to react and respond to the decisions that you are making. So My pre-workout helps me in so many areas with what it is I'm doing in my training, right? So I don't work out. I consider myself a conditioned athlete. In order for me to get from my body what I want, I have to give it what it needs. And my pre-workout does that. It has all kinds of amino acids, and it is a post-workout recovery formulation. And so it does serve me well. If you're interested in what I use, you have to send me a DM or an email. I will share with you what it is that I use. And if you go to fortoday'sagingwoman.com/codes, CODES, it's listed there as well. I always say it's worth it. If you feel like you're struggling with your workouts and you want to still continue this intermittent fasting type of lifestyle, you might also be the person that will benefit from it, and it won't hold you from the results that you are looking for. So I always ask women to, consider this situation. If what you are doing is helping you get the results that you're hoping for, then that's a win. If the decisions you're making or what it is you're doing in your intermittent fasting lifestyle is not yielding you the result that you're hoping for, then you have to question that, right? And sometimes it is just a different type of pre-workout. Some women love like getting their runs in with a cup of coffee. I personally can't do that. It doesn't work for me. I've tried it. If you're that woman, then I say go for it. Do what works for you, right? Don't worry about what other people are doing. Don't worry about what other people are saying. If you're getting the results you're hoping for, then that's working for you. So that's the pre-workout question. On the days that I'm not working out, I stay clean fasted, right? Because I don't need that pre-workout to enforce or enhance what it is I'm doing in my training session. So I'm not breaking my body down basically in a workout. And so I don't need it. And so I stay clean fasted on those days. So that has helped a lot with that there. Okay. Another question I got asked is sparkling water okay to have during your fasting period? Okay. So sparkling water comes in a lot of different forms, and it is kind of trendy and has been for a couple of years. Sparkling water is what I call a tool when you're fasting, right? So if it's not flavored, it's not enhanced with anything, it's basically water with bubbles, it is considered a tool when you are fasting because the bubbles mimic taking up space in your stomach. So you're tricking your hunger hormones into believing that you have something in your stomach, and it will help balance out your ghrelin hormone, right? It will stop growling basically, and you'll stop feeling that emptiness in your stomach. So sparkling water is a great tool. What we have to be careful of are the fancy schmancy sparkling waters, right? That have a bunch of enhancements added to them. So flavors, a lot of additives put in them. Those could potentially knock you out of what you think is a fasted state, because especially when you're first starting out with fasting and your hormones are out of balance, we have to assume that everything creates an insulin response. And our goal, especially when we're starting out with intermittent fasting, is to stay in a fasted state. No new insulin response until we decide to break our fast. So I always say it's not worth the risk, especially in the beginning when you're starting out with intermittent fasting. So use the tool of plain sparkling water, no flavors, no enhancements, no fancy schmancy things in it. Then test it out when you are balanced out and you're happy with your results. Then if you add something into your fasted state that could potentially be breaking that fast, then you're going to notice that. You're going to lose the energized sense of calm. You're not going to feel empowered in the fasted state. You might start craving things. You might feel like your hunger hormones are knocked out of balance again. And if you start noticing those things, then you just go back to the clean sparkling water, and you can add in the flavors and all the fancy stuff in your feasted state. So you always have to come back to you, right? And how it is your body is feeling. Remember, calories do not break a fast. A hormonal or chemical change in your body is what is essentially breaking your fast. And then you have to ask yourself, is that going to help me reach the goal that I say that I want to have for myself, or is it hindering it, right? And oftentimes when we stay in that season of our goal is being hindered, we create a bunch of mind drama and we think fasting's not working for us. And really what it is are those innocent little decisions that we're making in our fasted state that are keeping us from the result that we're hoping for. So hopefully that clears that up. Okay, so let me see if I have a couple questions here and then I'll get back to some other questions that I got. Sandy, hello, girlfriend, January 2022 grad. Patsy, hello. Natalie, good to have you with us. Tracy, I have been doing intermittent fasting for 3 days. Is it okay to do intermittent fasting for 21 days? So, okay, here's the thing that we get a lot too is intermittent fasting safe? Is it okay to do it every day? How many days can I intermittent fast? So let's go back to what the definition of intermittent fasting is. The intermittent part, or how I like to teach it here in this community, is a 24-hour period of time, which we call a day, where we're going to choose to be fasted and choose to be feasted. How long you want to spend in either one of those two windows, again, is dependent on what it is you say you really want. For a lot of women here in this community who are suffering through hormonal changes that come with perimenopause, menopause, and postmenopause. Yes, you still have changes in postmenopause. Then we have to ask ourselves, what are we willing to do to end the suffering, right? So intermittent fasting, because you're refeeding yourself every day, has no negative implications unless you're doing things in extremes. So I always say, don't be extreme. Fast long, feast well. Refeed your body for your next day's fast. Remember, we think differently here in this community. A lot of intermittent fasting experts teach or coach on the premise of you just fasted, girlfriend, now you can go eat whatever it is you want. We know that that's not true. We know that we, especially as we start to age, have to feed our body for the season that we are in. We can no longer eat like we were 25. We have to eat like the season that we're in. So I always recommend consider what you're going to do in your feasting window to support how it is you want your next fast to go. What I recommend is higher naturally occurring fats, conscious carbohydrates. So you don't want to have a big, heavy carb experience or a bunch of junky carbs in your feasting window. And you want to consider what it is you're doing with your protein choices, right? A lot of people end up over proteining, and that's the sticking point. So I always say let protein just naturally fall in your feasting window. Then you go into that fasted state feeling empowered because you've had the opportunity to drain those tanks. And that's what we want to do to become more metabolically flexible. Within a 24-hour period, are we filling up our tanks and efficiently and effectively draining our tanks? That's the power of intermittent fasting. We feast, we fill our tanks, we fast, we drain our tanks, and we want to make sure that we're doing that in a 24-hour period. So I have been fasting for 6 years. Every single day, my body is fasting in some way, shape, or form. Because I allow my life to happen and I don't skip memory making moments and I'm not super restrictive, I don't fast the same way every day now because I'm healed. I'm not trying to reverse anything. When I was first starting out, I fasted as if my life depended on it. I didn't want to get any sicker. So I was very strict with my fasting and my feasting to heal my body. Now I fast because I enjoy it, right? So you have to go back to why you're fasting and then how you're going to fast so that you can get the results you're hoping for. But there's no danger in intermittent fasting as long as you don't do anything in extremes. Anything that we do in extremes is always going to have its hazards attached to it. Don't be extreme and you'll thrive for sure. Joyce, hi from England. Love your information. Joyce, so good to have you with us from England. Janine, from snowy Green Bay, September 2019 grad and active midlife mindset member. Your courses are the best and you are an amazing coach. Janine, I love having you here. Thank you for saying that. I appreciate you. Debbie, I fasted for 20 hours today. It feels wonderful. Yes, for sure, right? And so 20 hours is really what I call the sweet spot, or where we get what I call the energized sense of calm, right? It's just enough time to drain the tanks from the day before. And you get your body into that opportunity where it's feasting off of itself. So you're not starving. You're letting your body feast off of what you have in storage. And then you enter into a 4-hour feasting window. It is where the magic happens, but you have to understand why magic happens there and understand that your body does have the intelligence to make this work for you, right? And then it also has the resources to make sure that it's going to do what it is you expect in that fasted state. And that is feasting off what so many of of us are frustrated with. Your body will do the work for you. You do nothing, you get out of the way, and you let the magic happen for sure. So, Debbie, I'm super proud of you. Enjoy that 20-hour fast for sure. Vidya, I'm glad to be here, and you are doing such a good job. Oh, thank you, girlfriend. It's so good to have you here. Pam from Pennsylvania, third week in the February course. Yeah, girlfriend, you are crushing it. Remember, all of my intermittent fasting for today's aging women students who've come through the 2021 course and are now in the 2022 course, you have this information for life. I always recommend going back and revisiting some of these lessons in class because you're going to be swayed by other people's way of fasting. And I do empower you to figure out your own way. If it worked while you were going through the course the first time, that means it will always work for you if you implement the same policies and procedures that you're taught in class, right? And then you have to remember you have the permission to make decisions for yourself based on you being informed about your own body. Don't let anyone tell you it's their way or the highway. That is just not true. It's your way is the best way. We have to make sure that we are going back and reminding ourselves of that. Shauna, January 2022, grad, doing IF for over a year, keeping off the 30 pounds I lost. Love this lifestyle. We'll never go back. Girlfriend, we are never going back. We are the IF club for sure. 6 years and counting. I have no reason to ever stop intermittent fasting. Here's why I believe a lot of people jump off the intermittent fasting wagon. And it's because of these things. One, they're hearing information that is probably not true to them, might be true to some, but maybe not true to them. Because if you got results, you can get results. You just have to go back to doing what you were doing. And I think that people get bored, right? And in general, as a society, we feel like we have to jump on the next new thing. Intermittent fasting is the easiest. It's the most cost effective. It is the most empowering. It is the most time freeing. It is the best way for you to heal your body on so many levels. I always say it's a great opportunity, especially for women, to heal themselves mentally, emotionally, and physically, right? So there's no need for you to ever stop intermittent fasting. What we have to do is work with our thoughts and our mind and give ourselves permission to also live our life. Intermittent fasting does not have to be restrictive. It is the opportunity for you to just give food a break. That's all it is, right? And if you're thriving and you're doing well and you feel well and you like the way you look and your sleep is great and all your perimenopausal and menopausal side effects are going away, it's working. You don't need to lurk any further. Just rinse and repeat, and those results will stay for sure. Rebecca, I am from the UK. I'm so interested in IF, but really struggle before and during my cycle. I'm 54 and still getting periods. I am so hungry during that time. Yeah, it takes a lot for our body to go through a menstrual cycle. It's a lot of work, right? So your body is working extra hard during that time. I always say make sure you're feeding the feeling of that cycle, right? And if you're calendaring it, you know when it's coming up. Now, there are a lot of hormone experts out there that will tell you that you have to do certain things leading up to your cycle. And I say, if that works for you, then go for it. If your life is not that structured and you can't be that disciplined around your cycle and you just want to feel better and not feel starving, I always say just make sure you have really good nutrient dense foods at your disposal so you can make better choices during that season. When I was always the one who was struggling with very intense like menstrual cycles and PMS when I was younger. And then I figured out that when I worked out leading up to my cycle, when I worked out during my cycle, and when I fed my body nutrient dense food and stay away from what society deems as like period food, then I did so much better. And I started to feel relief from PMS and I started to feel relief from my menstrual cycle as well. So feed your body well, give it some grace, take some time to just go for a walk maybe, or just settle into that season, but make sure that you're feeding your body the nutrients that it needs because it is working extra hard through that process, right? And then I'm sure you'll start to feel some relief as well. I would always have baked potatoes when I was during that season as well. Baked potatoes and some good protein, you'll probably feel great. Maybe some fat as well. Um, okay, so let's see. Yatha, hi everyone. Recently, I had a colonoscopy. Doctor found one precancerous polyp. Okay, so you have to talk to your doctor about that. We can't talk about that here. I'm not a doctor. So if you get something from a doctor that is some sort of diagnosis or treatment plan, you have to go back to the doctor for help with that. We can't talk about that here because I am not a doctor. Colleen, current February course, life changing. Yes, girlfriend. Now you have the power to make informed decisions for yourself. You know how to fast long, feast well. You can add in the training smart part of it. And if things are working for you, then girlfriend, things are working for you. And I can't wait to have you come back in our community in a month or two and tell us how great you're still doing for sure. Marie, when you say you feast well, what does that encompass? How much do you eat? And is your window always 4 hours? Okay, so like I said, Marie, I let my life lead the way, but I always preface my life with fasting. So, how does that work? Today, I had a really great workout. So technically, I broke my fast, 30 minutes before my workout, had my pre-workout. I'm done with my workout. I'm going to spend the rest of the afternoon in what would, I guess, fasting, right? Because I don't like to eat after I get done working out, and I like to stay in a fasted state. So I'm having my coffee. I'm going to enjoy the afternoon. I'm going to break my fast sometime this afternoon, probably about 2 or 3, and I'll probably eat from 2 to 6 or 3 to 7. It all just depends on how the evening goes. But if I were to have a lunch date with a friend today at 1:00, I would go have lunch with my friend, and I would just shorten my fast on one end. And then if I felt like it, lengthen my fast on the other, or just jump right back into my schedule. So for me, being at a place where I feel like my body's healed, I'm not battling weight, I'm not battling fat, I'm not battling diseases, I'm not battling glucose problems, I'm very flexible, then I can have that ebb and flow with my life. If you're in that same position, I say fast when you can, feast when the opportunity presents itself. And then when you have an opportunity to create a fasting experience that might be longer for you, always lean into that, because there's always opportunities to feast. There's not always opportunities to fast. Example of that is I always go get my hair done in the evening, right? Because I'm away from home, my family's eating their dinner. I take my bottle of water. I enjoy my time getting my hair done. I love my hair stylist. And I just lean into a longer fast on that particular day. And the next day I run back into my routine, because I always know there's going to be opportunities to shorten a fast so that I can feast with whatever's going on in my life. So just lean into the comfort of what you know works for you, and then you can ebb and flow. What does my feasting well encompass? If you follow me on Instagram, almost every night I take a picture of what I'm eating for dinner. I share what I do to break my fast in the afternoon. So I eat about 2 times a day. Sometimes I snack in between. Sometimes I don't. Depends on the day. But if you want to know what I eat, just follow me on Instagram. Or if you join my Intermittent Fasting for Today's Aging Woman course, I also share with you a 40-page feasting guide, which gives you all the stuff that I do in my feasting window with my family. I eat like my family. I don't eat a separate way. I don't have a separate cabinet. I eat like my family, and I enjoy food. I'm a foodie, despite the fact that I fast for 20 hours a day. I'm not anti-food. I love food. Food just hasn't worked well or served me well in my season of menopause. So I just made a different priority for it and where it fits in my life. And then I enjoy it when it's there. So you have to figure out food for you for sure. And I think that's the biggest sticking point. Once you figure out you can just eat everyday normal food, but you have to eat food that makes sense for you, then it becomes a lot easier for sure. Okay, let's see what else we got here. Vidya, I'm 51 and I'm doing IF 18 months now, and I'm getting hot flashes a lot. I just want to know if IF will help me with the hot flashes. Hot flashes when you're intermittent fasting has nothing to do with the fasting aspect, and most often has something to do with the food choices you're making in your feasting window. So for a lot of women, it's things like gluten, it's things like dairy, and it's specifically soy. And I know soy is one of those topics that is super controversial, because there are a lot of people who thrive consuming soy. So figure out if you are a person who thrives with those things, or those things could be holding you back. Oftentimes, once you get the nutritional part of that settled out, things like hot flashes go away. Eating a high carbohydrate diet often is one of those things that leads to hot flashes as well. If you're still drinking wine at night, that could be contributing to your hot flashes as well. And it doesn't mean that you can't ever drink wine or you can't ever have carbohydrates. That's not the thing. Or you can't ever have soy. That might not be the thing. But what you have to do is reset your body, figure out what the triggers are that are causing the hot flashes, because they are directly related to a hormonal imbalance. Food causes hormonal imbalance. Get that settled back down to a starting point for you, and then you test foods out and see how they react and respond for you. Hot flashes for me were directly connected to how much of extra things I was putting in my feasting window. And that once I got through the extra things like snacks and wine at night and maybe having some frozen yogurt with my family, like that could be enough to put me in a hormonal state of imbalance that caused hot flashes. And then for me, it was soy. And for a lot of women in our community, soy is a problem. Not soy so much in the food form, but soy in your environment. So what's in your makeup, what's in your lotion, what's in your vitamins, what is in some foods that you would never expect soy to be in. When I was 100% eliminating soy from my diet, I was duped and exposed to soy 15 times in one day while actively pursuing eliminating it from my life. So the soy byproducts are really problematic for a lot of us women in your candles, lotion, toothpaste, chewing gum, vitamins. It's everywhere. Eliminate those products, put cleaner products in your life, and see if that helps with the hot flashes as well. But intermittent fasting, the fasting part doesn't cause hot flashes. It's what you're putting in your body, on your body, or around your body that's causing a hormonal response that could be a problem with hot flashes for sure. Shauna, January 21 grad, over a year of IF, lost 30 pounds, keeping it off with this incredible lifestyle. Will never go back. Yes, girlfriend. Am I repeating these? No. Okay. Tracy, I've been getting a lot of migraines. Can intermittent fasting help with migraines? I would say give it a try. Whatever you're doing to get for your body to give you a signal that, you know, something's not working and the signal is the migraine, then you have to do investigative work. So figure out what kind of things are going on in your life that could possibly be contributing to you having a migraine. Because if you just fast and you don't get to the root cause of the migraine, then you're going to fast and probably still have a migraine. So fasting doesn't always fix everything if you're not changing what it is you're putting in, on, and around your body. So fasting, though, the great thing about being in a fasted state throughout the day is you're doing nothing to interrupt your body's body chemistry and your hormonal responses to things. And then when you do something, your brain makes a decision to change that. Your response to that, your body's response to that will be almost immediate. So that's how I figured out soy was such a problem for me, is I was fasting and I was and these soy byproducts were hidden in a lot of the healthy things I was putting in my body. And I felt immediately that as soon as I put soy in, I felt it immediately as a response in my body. So get to the root cause of what the problem with the migraine is, Tracy. And then once you put the fasting in, it will help your body reset itself when you have the next feasting state as well. Shauna, correction, January 2021. Don't want anyone to think I lost 30 pounds in a month. No, girlfriend, I figured that out for sure. But yeah, congratulations on that. 30 pounds is a big deal. Like when we think about 30 pounds, right, especially for women going through hormonal seasonal changes, 30 pounds is a big deal because it's really, really hard for us to lose weight in this season. So to lose 30 pounds is huge. And 30 pounds, if you think about it, is like a small child that you have to carry around on your hip, right? So think about how much you've changed your life or your future self by losing 30 pounds. Like that's a big, big deal. So make sure you're reveling in that and then just keep rinsing and repeating so you stay there for sure. Susan. Hi, girlfriend. I'm new to the group, but not to IF. I've been practicing IF for over a year. I say practicing because I'm not perfect, but I love it and feel great when I'm practicing it. Good. Yeah. Intermittent fasting's not perfect. We're not perfect. Nothing's perfect. And so I say giving yourself the freedom and flexibility to enjoy the benefits of fasting and let it be the thing that enhances your life and doesn't dictate your life is where you'll always be successful with intermittent fasting for sure. So just keep going with the flow, girlfriend, and you'll keep reaping all the benefits for sure. Gail, I've been doing IF since November. I do 20 to 22 hours most days. Sometimes I still like chocolate treat and indulge in a few candy kisses. When I do that, I just blow my fasting. Did I just blow my fasting by having sugar? So not so much the sugar, probably. And again, it's that thing where, I always say, life's too short to not have the things that bring us joy, right? So if like chocolate is your jam, the only thing that I would recommend is making sure you know what the ingredients are in those candy kisses, because chocolate is not the problem. The problem is how that chocolate is made. And that's true of all things, right? I'm a chocolate fanatic. I have chocolate every single day. I have really good quality chocolate. And so if you want to know what chocolate I eat, send me an email or send me a DM and I will share with you what it is. But if it's like a Hershey's chocolate kiss, I'm going to guess there's probably a lot of ingredients in there that will wreak havoc on your body chemically and hormonally. And you'll think it's bad to have chocolate. And it may not be that it's bad that I have chocolate. It might just be bad to have that kind of chocolate. So general store chocolate is not the best chocolate, but there are great chocolates out there on the market. And so you just got to find stuff with some good ingredients for sure. And then what you do with the sugar aspect of it, again, is all dependent on how long you fast, how well you feast, and how well you're going to train, right? And are you training smart? Because the goal of fasting is to drain the tanks. So if you're not happy with how your results are with your fasting long, feasting well, and training smart, I guarantee you that one thing could be holding you back. And it's usually that one thing that, again, leaves us in emotional and mental turmoil, right? Because we're trying to figure out what that one thing is. And it's always pretty obvious. It could be the candy you're having. Like, do you need candy? Is it life sustaining? Or is it that one little pesky thing you can't let go of to get what it is you say you really want? This is what I teach in my mindset shift course, is what is the one thing that's holding us back from the thing that we say that we really want? And is that one thing worth it? Or can we make a substitute, or can we eliminate it and test our life without it and figure out if maybe getting what we say we really want is actually more important and more fulfilling to us? So just do a little mindset work on that, girlfriend, and see what you come up with. Sandy, when I cleaned up my feasting, especially gluten, soy, and grains, my hot flashes disappeared, but I had to find the triggers. Thank you for sharing that, Sandy. That is absolutely 100% the truth. You have to test these things out. Nutrition today is not what nutrition was years ago, right? And these are the common questions. So thank you, Sandy, for saying that. A lot of the comments here today are the questions that I get asked, right? Like, why am I still having hot flashes? And it's usually the decisions we're making in our feasting window or the things we have in our environment. Fasting is doing nothing, right? You're doing nothing to change your body. And then we always defer to like, it must be the fasting. No, it's the decisions we're making in the other areas of our life, because fasting, you're doing nothing. You're letting your body reset itself. Oftentimes, though, what does happen when you're fasting is that then when you have something in your environment that's not working well with your body chemistry or working well with your hormonal makeup, it is so blatantly obvious and in your face. But because the only change you made was fasting, you think that that's the problem. It's always going to be where we make decisions in our feasting window, or always where we're making decisions in the things that we put in and on and around our body. The change was the fasting, but it's changing in a way that it's making it so apparent what's not working for you. And you have to listen to those signs and signals and do the test in the decision-making process of that as well. Okay, Marie, is it okay? Just try not to do it every day. I indulge a couple times a week with the sweet. Okay, Marie, this is again where I have to ask you, how is what you're doing working for you? It's not for me to say whether it's right or wrong. It's you deciding if you're stuck in a state of frustration because you think you're doing all the right things, yet you're not getting the results you were hoping for. If you think you're doing all the right things and you are getting the results that you're hoping for, then in my opinion, you're doing all the right things. If you're doing all the right things, or you feel like you're doing all the right things and you're not getting the results you're hoping for, you have to go back to the drawing board in the decision-making process. And is the indulgence of those sweets enough to keep you from those results? You're the only one that can answer that question for yourself. I always say, run a test, right? When I was trying to figure out a lot of the things that were holding me back from the things, from what it is I said I really wanted, I did a 30-day test on my favorite things. So for 30 days, I would eliminate something. I did it on French fries. I did it on chocolate. I did it on wine. I did it on all the things that I thought could be the problem. And I evaluated my life at the end of 30 days. How did I feel? Did I feel like I was missing out on my life? What kind of results did I get? Were they worth what it was I was giving up? And some of the things were very, very apparent that I needed to emotionally and mentally let them go. So physically I could achieve the results I was hoping for. There were some other things that I tested for 30 days that my life seemed like it was really missing something that I enjoyed, and the results weren't so significant physically that it really mattered. French fries is one of those things. I love French fries. I gave them up for 30 days. My body and what it was I was doing in my life health-wise didn't change, but I did feel like I was missing out on opportunities because my family also loves French fries. So I put them back in. But I did up the game in some of the other things that I did a test on. So do a 30-day test, Marie, and then see if at the end of 30 days, if something significantly changes for you. Ruthie, will taking my powdered unflavored collagen or my multivitamins break my fast? I don't know. You got to test it. Again, it's always what's in the ingredients of the supplements, right? If you want to get down to like scientific cellular reactions to certain supplements, you're going to find that yes, everything breaks a fast, right? If you're not fasting for that reason and you're only fasting to maybe balance out some things out hormonally or trying to lose a little bit of weight, is that going to be the thing that's going to deter you from reaching your goals? I don't know. 30 days with your vitamins in your fast, 30 days with your vitamins outside of your fast. See which one gets you a better result. Collagen is one of those things that if you're really trying to get to those stages of autophagy will in fact inhibit autophagy, especially if you're doing it in the morning, right? So if in the morning is that most precious time of our fast. For a lot of us, it's that 12, 14-hour mark, right? Where we're really getting to that place where we haven't had an insulin response for a good amount of time and we're really able to start resetting some things. So 12 hours is the magic. Everything beyond that is where we're really getting the benefits, right? So if you're taking your collagen at the 12-hour mark of your fast, studies have shown that that will stop autophagy from happening. So if you're looking for that level of benefit from fasting, I would put it somewhere else, right? And just have your collagen at a different part of your fasting window. If you're fasting for 20 hours, just pick a time during that 20-hour mark where you don't feel it's going to be as detrimental to what it is you're trying to achieve. But collagen does take you out of a state of autophagy for sure. Yeah, I got that, Ruthie, but thanks for the correction on that. Vija, thank you so much. And I am gluten-free diet, but I normally break my fast with an apple, almond, green salad, and my homemade yogurt. Yeah, I mean, if that's working for you, that sounds absolutely delicious for sure. Ruthie, collagen. Also, I've heard liquid collagen absorb better. Your thoughts? I don't know. I don't take liquid collagen. Again, it's that thing. Here's the thing with everything with asking about questions with intermittent fasting. I don't know how your body is going to absorb it. So I always, if you can risk an experiment, always be willing to risk the experiment. I call that taking one for the team. I'm always experimenting with my fasting window. I'm always experimenting with my feasting. I'm always experimenting with my training, right? Because I want to know if what I'm doing is the best or if there might be a little tweak I can make to make it better. Oftentimes, what I'm doing is the best for me, and it doesn't really work to experiment. It doesn't really work to add new things in, right? But for you, you might find that your body absorbs liquid collagen better. I know there's a lot of new liquid collagen products on the market. That's where all of these, questions are coming from because it's something new and people are talking about it. Give it a try if it fits within your budget, if it's easy for you to use and it makes sense for you. It might be the change that you need for the result that you're hoping for. If it's not convenient for you, if it's outside of your budget, if it's not something you enjoy doing, then it doesn't matter how effective it's going to be. You're probably not going to stick to the routine that you need to stick to get the result you're hoping for. So there's a lot of factors that go into these things being better than other things. It's like, when should I work out? I get this question all the time. When's the best time to work out? My answer is always when it's best for you to work out. I love working out in the morning. I'm not like gung ho, let's get our workout in, rah, rah, rah kind of person. Like I have to work out in the morning or I'm probably not going to work out. I know that about myself. Is it because it's the best time for me to work out? No, it's the best time convenience for me. Physiologically, is it the best time for me to work out? I don't know and I don't care because it's the best time for me to work out with the life that I have. And this is where we have to start thinking. This is why mindset is where I lead. Does that make sense for you to drink liquid collagen? I don't know. You're the only one that can answer that, right? Does it make sense for you to, break your fast with a pre-workout? I don't know. You're the only one that can answer that. Does it make sense for you to up your protein intake? I don't know. You're the only one that can answer that. And you have to test that for yourself. Just because someone else got a result with something doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get the same result, because you are a unique set of DNA, right? So, ask yourself those questions, do some research on it, give it a 30-day test, see if you're getting those results, or whatever they recommend the time frame is. Like, a lot of these products have, reviews, like most people saw this amount of results in 90 days. So you have to make the 90-day commitment in order to answer that for yourself. So I hope that helps. And this is really where I want this community to start thinking. And this is why, when you join my Intermittent Fasting for Today's Aging Woman course, which starts on March the 5th, information can be found in the description box, or you can go to fortoday'sagingwoman.com. I don't preach to you. I have you think. Consider this. How does this make you feel? Why is it that you feel like you've been struggling? Where is the stumbling blocks for you? Do you see a pattern in your life? In our midlife mindset shift course, we just talked this week, or a couple weeks, we've been talking about tripwires, right? And a tripwire is something that you trip over, stops you in your tracks before you make a mistake, right? So I share the story about when my kids were little and I used to sleep in my workout clothes, because for my brain to sleep in my workout clothes and wake up early and not work out did not make sense. So the tripwire for me was waking up in workout clothes, and I didn't even think about it. I just got into my workout. My kids were little. That was the only time I could work out during that season of my life. Then as my kids got older, I would lay my workout clothes in the closet. I would trip over my workout clothes at the beginning of my day. It was the trigger for me to get my workout in. I also do tripwires with my water. So how is it you drink all your water in a day? I have a water beside my bed. I have a water on my bathroom counter. I make sure if I get in my car, I drink 25 ounces of water. I don't get out until my 25 ounces of water are gone. I've created these tripwires and these boundaries in my life to remind me to do the things I say that I want to do to get the results that I say I really want for myself. So think about some of those things too, right? Why is it you're taking your vitamins in the morning? Is that the best or most logical time for you to take your vitamins? Well, then if that works for you and that is the best time for you to take your vitamins, then the momentary breakup of your fast is insignificant, because that's when you are going to be more successful with taking your vitamins. If taking your vitamins at night with dinner is where you're most successful with taking your vitamins, but you heard someone say your vitamins aren't as potent if you take them on when you eat your meal, but that's the only time you're successful at it, take the risk of them not being as potential, because getting them in your system is going to be better than not at all. So this is where we have to start thinking about our life, right? And the choices that we're making, and asking these questions that start with, can I? I don't know. Let's test it out. Let's think it through. And is it the thing that's going to help you get to where you need to go, or is it going to be the thing that's holding you back? For sure. Vidya, thank you so much. And I am gluten-free. Okay, I think we already read that one. Okay, so we are done. I hope one of your questions was answered, or one of the thought processes that you're mulling over in your mind got touched today, and will help you get to a decision that will lead you to a place where you're going to find results. Intermittent fasting is the best lifestyle, right? Being in a fasted state for a lot of us women is the most empowering feeling that we have had in a very long time. Don't do things in extremes. Think things through. Test things out, and then question the advice that has been given to you. Does it apply to you? How's that going to work for you? And then if you want to, run a test. If the test proves to be what you thought it was going to be, then that thing that you tested should be implemented in your life. If it turns out that it's not working for you, then you trash it. It doesn't matter what anyone else is saying. It didn't work for you. Okay? So if you are interested in coming to class, we do start on the 5th of March. Registration is open. You can go to fortoday'sagingwoman.com. You can get on my email list, or you can just go ahead and get yourself registered there. I clear up all the confusion about intermittent fasting, and I provide an opportunity for you to figure out how intermittent fasting can work for you, and how you can create a lifestyle for yourself that will stand the test of time. right? You don't have to stop and start. You don't have to fall off wagons. You don't have to throw in the towel. You can create a lifestyle that's pretty flexible and reap all the benefits once we start getting to the point where we're thinking about the choices we're making and how they're going to serve us. Okay, that's my spiel for today. Have a great rest of your Thursday. I will be back here on Monday, noon Central Standard Time. And tomorrow I will be on Instagram. If you want to know what kind of foods I eat, go to my Instagram. I share my stories. And then tomorrow I will be doing an Instagram live at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time, where I'm going to be answering questions about the Lumen device. So if you are a Lumen user, make sure you're following me on Instagram tomorrow. I will go live. If you have specific questions about the Lumen, shoot them my way, and I will make sure I get them answered for you tomorrow as well. Pam, the course is awesome. Just jump and do it. You will be so glad you did. Thank you, girlfriend. I appreciate you saying that. Okay, I will see you guys either tomorrow, hopefully tomorrow, or I will see you guys on Monday. Have a great weekend. If you're around the Texas parts, make sure you're staying warm. It is super cold here.